You taking these things
Yep,
tonight?
yep, we sure are. Yep. If you have your subnet exercise tonight, we were here last Thursday, you can bring that up if you have it with you. Some of you submitted it in the Dropbox, but if you have a hard copy, you can bring it up. So right there, thanks. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? Week 12, we're going to go over troubleshooting tonight. Next week is iOS, or not iOS, Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, logging in and creating clients. Starting week 14, you'll begin your presentations, final presentations. I'll go over that. I've already put the names in here as far as your range of names. So week 14 would be 419, last names beginning A through K. And attendance is mandatory, by the way, the last 3 sessions, even though you're not presenting, 50 points just for showing up and supporting those that are presenting. Be here at least 10 minutes early if you have any handouts, but majorly it's to give me your USB thumb drive or your email to me prior to your presentation. That's fine. Either one will work. Your paper, research paper of those presenting each week, starting on 419, will be uploaded into that week's session. And so for this week, you'll upload it into there for week 14.
Could I be moved to that week? The following week, I'll be in China.
Yeah, sure. Done. Shoot me an email. I'll definitely update it. I'll put you in there. And then weeks 15 and 16. Week 15, last name, it's 429 is week 15. Last name's L through R. 5-3 is the last session, S through Z. And we'll have a pizza party that night. The following week is finals week. And I am going to be here that night. And I'm going to have refreshments and water. But technically, you don't have to come. But if you have finals that week and you want to come and grab something to eat, sit down and chat for a while, you may do so. And so technically our last night's going to be 5:30, which is going to be May 3rd, not 5:30, May 3rd. And so that night I will buy pizza. You guys will bring everything else. And that'll be our party night. And then the following week's finals, and the final schedule will be out, posted here pretty quick. And it's generally up through Thursday that week or something like that. So ours will be whatever time they give us that week to do finals. But I will be here, but we aren't going to actually do nothing for a grade, but I have to be in the classroom. And so you guys can come in and get refreshments and chit chat or whatever, hang out. That's fine. I'll be playing music or whatever. Each one of you, when you present, need to be here again 10 minutes before class starts. So by 7:20, make sure you've handed. The reason I need that 10-minute time frame is to dump everybody's PowerPoint onto my Mac so you can present. If you're going to use your own computer, you may do so for sure. The other option that you might think about, if you haven't already fleshed out your presentation yet, is, which I know everybody's done with your presentation, so that's a stupid question, but if you want to do a live remote, I've had students bite on that each semester, 1 or 2, each for my 110 class and 130. What that means is you can do like, any type of conferencing type of, whether it be FaceTime or what's some other ones you guys use?
Right.
Skype, that's a good one. I've used that one with the class. Skype, FaceTime is a top 2 really that students have used. But there's other ones out there. There's no reason why you can't use something else. An example, a student in my 130 class 2 semesters ago did his kids helped him. He had like a 7 or 8 year old kid down in the basement helping them. And they did security differences between iOS and Android. And it was about a 10-minute presentation. And his boy helped him kind of present some of the features and stuff. So that's kind of cool. So anyway, in IT, you're always, if you don't already know this, one of the reasons I've hammered away a lot on remote control stuff is you're using a lot of remote control connectivity when it comes to helping people, but also when it comes to learning and meeting folks in IT, where I'm on probably 10 or 15 video calls a week, sometimes more. And all around the world, around the nation, because people don't have to travel and you just video in, and you're right there, like you're good as being there, and that saves company money. So why not, right? And so anyway, it's good to get used to doing it, and it's might as well do it in school, right? And so have fun with it. And we're not going to judge you like you're have to be some professional at it at that point. And so, but it's something fun to do. And so if you're deciding to do that, or you're like, hey, you had any thought about it, and like, hey, that might be cool, let me know. And what we can do is we can set up a test connection. So if you use Skype, we'll set it up to where you install it on your computer at home, and then we can set up a 5-minute test connection to show you how it works. Done. And you can literally present your stuff from home. So that's an idea. You don't have to do it that way. The other idea for presentations is I've had students videotape their presentation, whether it be a screencast like I do in here each session, or they do a demo at home or at work, and they video it, come up here, talk about what they're going to present about. We watch the video. At the end, come up and go, is there any questions? So that's an option as well. And again, kind of cool to do that if you've never done that before. It's kind of fun to do it. Screencast is pretty easy. If you want to do a screencast, just to play around with it, just see if you want to do it. The one I'd recommend, it's a free tool. You can sign up for a 15-minute screencast, is screencast-o-matic.com. And it doesn't cost anything for 15 minutes, which is plenty enough time for your presentation. And it'll save it as a MP4. That's an idea. The other way you can present is the old PowerPoint, right? Which a lot of students choose that. Prezi, which I did a Prezi a few weeks back when you guys did the outline that week. Prezi.com. They've just updated Prezi, by the way, to be totally HTML5, meaning there's no Flash anymore, which is Flash kind of going by the wayside, those web people in here. So we're kind of getting rid of that technology just because, people shouldn't have to install something to run a video. And so Prezi is a good option. And then normal whiteboard, you can use that. You can also bring up index cards if you want to use those during your presentation. And you will be presenting, unless you bring your own computer, from my MacBook or iPad, and then I'll have a remote control for you to where you can advance and go back and forth and use a pointer that I don't normally use, but I'll have one. I have one in my bag that you can use, definitely. That way you can walk around and do your presentation if you want to. So questions on your final presentation and paper. Again, your paper is not due to the week of your presentation. And if you need to adjust, like this gentleman here, on your presentation time, let me know. I can definitely do that, no problem. Each person will also fill out a survey on each presenter. And the survey basically is just the name of the student presenting, title, what did you like about presentation, and any questions you might have for them. Okay, it'll go right to the student, those questions will. So just a few weeks away. Tonight we're going to be doing the fun troubleshooting. Anybody done any help desk in the past, maybe, or know somebody, friends or family does help desk at IT? Help desk, desk support, desktop support, something like that. You ever done that or experience? Okay, you get to experience that tonight then. So you'll get to experience tonight both the troubleshooter side of IT on problems, because I have a list of problems that you guys are going to be looking at. So I'll split the room up here in a second after we go over how to troubleshoot. We'll watch a really serious video. No, it's a funny video on what not to do for troubleshooting. I'll call it Help Desk. And then we'll come back, regroup after we watch the video, and I'll split the group up, half users, half admin. The admins will walk out. I'll coach the users on problems, and some of the problems are, normal computer problems. And then there's some problems where a person just doesn't like IT. or the person doesn't like the boss and wants to get back in the company for something. So there's issues like that. Sometimes personal issues, mood swings, need somebody to talk to, and you're it. So you'll have a lot, anything in between you'll kind of have. Because I always tell students, the first node of your network is a person, not a cable or a computer. It's an actual person. And there's some people that's like clockwork every day or every time during the same time during the week is calling IT for the same issues. And sometimes those issues are not all technical issues, right? And so you'll have fun doing that. And then also want to mention also in week 12, I know you finished this too, probably not, the network call lab. Remember that one? If you've not yet finished that or even started on it, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Since I can tell by the looks on your face, you haven't started it. I'm going to extend that one more week, and we're going to do it right now to a week from Sunday. And that's the one where you had the script. Remember, we went over on how to cold call, but you don't really cold call because most people you connect to have been called over the years. I've done this for 20 years now, so I'm sure some folks have been called. An example I think I gave you that night we went over it was like here's a college you can call, OSF, Swedes, manufacturing firms here in town, all of them you can call, insurance companies, small shops, restaurants, whoever you want to call. So I'm going to bump that up to the 15th, give you another week. And I think I told you that I not 20 numbers, what I usually tell students, get 20 phone numbers of popular places like I just mentioned, push email to them if they don't have time, which a lot of them don't. I can send you a list of email questions if you don't have time, and they can reply to that. If you get up to 2 max replies, whether it be a phone call or an email, that's awesome. If you only get 1 reply, that's great. Okay. Again, it just depends upon a couple things: the mood of the person you talk to on the other end, and how comfortable you are talking to people you don't know on the phone. Really, those 2 things. And I understand that. And so I have had students, by the way, not call the company and just email the IT person. Find out who the IT person's email is. If you want to do that, that's fine. There's no reason why you can't do that. Okay. Make sense? So questions on that? I'll give you another week to finish that up. And by the way, when you finish that up, each sheet that you download, one of the fields that's not in there on purpose is a company field. If you could add that in there when you save it, and then say you get 2 completed, you can zip them together and upload them here in this module here, which is actually dated April 15th now for the due date. Make sense? All right, cool. We'll make sure and go over that. And also, if you've not yet turned this in, hard copy or uploaded it to subnet, do so by Sunday, and you won't get anything counted off for that. All right, so let's go and talk first off about the troubleshooting steps, and then we'll go over the document on troubleshooting and some of the steps that are entailed in that. So this is out of chapter 13, some snippets of chapter 13 on troubleshooting and as it pertains to networking and any troubleshooting step, basically. So first is when you get any type of problem in IT, you need to first of all understand, okay, notification of other changes that might be around, like for instance, recording solutions, communication, alerting others of problems that might be, like say switches down, internet's not working, network's down, printer's not working, phones aren't working. Also, many types of changes to record, not necessarily to record minor modifications. And most IT shops I've worked with and been managers of, if it's under 15 minutes, you generally don't need to document it. If it's something real simple, like somebody needs to, figure out how to, open up their email and check their inbox or something like that, you don't need to document that. But if it's something over 15 minutes, it's going to take some significant amount of time to fix, then definitely document it. There's many solutions to document. One I've mentioned in here this semester that we use a lot, and on campus we use it too. It's called spiceworks.com. You can use that for ticketing system, for people can ask for help for IT, and you can follow that ticket from opening to close. There's a lot of IT shops now, since we don't make money for a company per se, we have to document the time we spend on every single issue, right? To justify IT, basically. And so, which makes sense. So you'll also look at some of the steps involved. We'll look at a troubleshooting methodology. And this is just a methodology. It doesn't have to be like you have to follow every step to the letter every time. And as you go on in IT and you're more experienced, more experience you have, the more knowledge you're going to have, knowledge base you're going to have internally in your head and in your mind and in your heart as far as how things work. Also following a systematic approach of how to identify and resolve problems in networking, documenting symptoms, solutions, and result when troubleshooting network problems occur, and variety of different software tools and hardware tools that you can use as well. So on the process, logically and methodically, and here's an example. For instance, somebody calls and say they can't get on the internet. Okay. Were you able to get on the internet last night before you left? Yeah, that was fine. Is anybody around you? Is everybody around you? Oh yeah, everybody around you get on the internet. Okay. So you're first trying to logically figure out, okay, is this isolated to this person or to their whole department or maybe their whole building? You don't know at that point, right? So you're trying to, and you can ask people questions, right, about that. And people, one of the reasons why it's good to ask people questions is immediately they feel like they're being helpful, because number one rule when you answer a phone or whatever face to face with somebody in IT and you're the person they're coming to, you want to make sure they don't feel like, they're a waste of your time, basically, right? We've all maybe felt that when we've called help desk or we called troubleshooting support, like you'll find out in the video. Sir, is your computer on? That's not a good question to ask. Okay. All right. Yeah. Some things you're going to assume that the people are common sense type stuff. And so treat them with respect. And so by asking them a question makes them already feel like you need them in the problem solving piece, even though they probably don't feel like they can help at all. And maybe they can't help at all, possibly, but you don't want them to know that. You want them to immediately feel like they're helping. Just by asking, like the internet, did you use the internet last night? Yeah. Well, great. That's really helpful. Oh, okay. Great. So immediately their guard's down now, and they can go on to asking more questions or taking over from there and saying, well, we'll look into it and get back to you quickly to find out what's going on. And then make sure and follow up on those steps, whether it be getting back to them or whatever. Recommended steps, again, depending on what the issue is. Like in here, we've done, NIC installation, small LAN setup. And so if there's issues like, say, you install a NIC, and one of the things we discussed was if it doesn't work after you install it, could be what? What's one of the things it could have been? If the NIC doesn't work after you install it, a real simple one.
It's not seated properly.
It's not seated properly, right? What was the other one? Anybody remember? In the little quick quiz we had at the end of that? Starts with the word P or T, actually, either one. It was actually the first question, it's kind of the trick question on it. The TCP, remember the TCP protocol? If that's uninstalled, it won't work. And so a couple things could be the cord's not plugged in well in the NIC card, things like that. Use experience when necessary. Even myself ask questions a lot still today. I don't know everything. And so, you're always learning and letting people know, even in non-IT people, that you're always learning and willing to learn. And when you're like that, when you have that attitude and people know that, again, they feel more at ease coming to you about things because you're not going to make, kind of like the Saturday Night, if you've never seen Saturday Night Live skit Fallon did years ago called Nick Burns a Computer Guy. Anybody seen that before? Okay, you got to Google that over the weekend. But Nick Burns a Computer Guy. It's a little skit on SNL where he comes in and a small office has problems and, well, what's going on with your computer? Well, I can't move. And then he gets in there and goes, was that so hard? And then as he leaves, turns around and goes, "You're welcome." Stuff like that, And so we've all basically experienced stuff like that, probably, more than likely. And believe it or not, IT used to be that way years ago. Can't get away with that anymore, though. And so logical approach on benefits, making reason logical, really common sense is what it's all about, really. Just use common sense. It prevents wasteful time, time-consuming efforts, unnecessary software, hardware replacements, configuration changes, wiping out configurations, things of that nature. So here's the troubleshooting steps. First of all, and you'll do this in here in a second when you do the lab, when you're a user with a problem and I'll put your chairs back to back, I'll go ring, ring, and you'll start asking questions. The troubleshooter can ask up to 2 questions. And some of these users, by the way, do have clues they can give you, but you have to ask at least 2 questions first. But here's the things the troubleshooter is going to ask and find out what the symptoms are, right? And the problems. What area is affected? What's the scope? Is it to that person only, to the department, the entire building? Determine what's changed. Maybe a tech guy or gal installed a NIC card last night or installed a new switch, and now internet doesn't work on that whole floor, possibly, or that whole cubicle section. Establish what the most probable cause is. Determine if escalation is necessary, meaning you take it from what you know or your area of expertise to the next level of expertise, okay? And sometimes that next level might actually be out of house. It might be somebody that you have to call to get help, to come in and help you, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that either, okay? An example, local company here recently had a virus. They kept it in-house, kind of trying to fix it themselves for like 2 weeks, right? And it got really, really, really bad. It got, started out with just computers, and it started affecting file servers. Then it went to the email server. Then it started sending spam out. Just kept getting worse and worse. So finally, they, after 2 weeks, got somebody outside to come in and help and fix the issue. And again, don't wait that long. If you need help, you need help. Get it. Create an action plan and solution. Implement it. Test it. Identify the results and effects, and then document it. So asking questions is real important when to find out the symptoms. You're not going to know if you don't ask. And so now, granted, some of the things you can find out on your own, maybe by network queries and checking out your logs and things of that nature. But again, you'll find out during the lab tonight, a lot of these issues, unless something drastically has changed on your network, more than likely, 9 times out of 10, it's either a user is not following some proper steps or procedure, right? Or doesn't know, they've not been trained, or the software they're using isn't working, or the internet's not connected. One of those 3 entities usually happens and occurs. Not all the time, but 90% of the time, right? That 10% is the time where you have to do something on your end on IT, restart a server, whatever the case may be, cable get replaced, whatever. They kick the cable out of the wall, it has to be totally replaced. That happens as well. Avoid jumping to conclusions. I used to work with a guy that was a manager of IT that we went to Vegas once for a conference, and we were talking about issues he was having. And he said, "You know what? Every time I have a problem, you know what I do? I do updates." I'm like, wow. He goes, "What do you think about that?" I said, "Well, I don't agree with that, because sometimes you do updates, you can really screw things up. And not just because I've heard that, I've known that because I've done it myself. And so, that's not a solution. That's like, I don't know. I guess it'd be like, well, we're out of food this week, so we're just going to go buy everything in the store we can buy, and that's it. That's a solution. Whatever's on sale, we're going to buy it. So the jumping to conclusions or symptoms or solutions definitely isn't always the best thing. Paying attention also for like users, symptoms, behavior, error messages, like the company that had the virus that hit their system. They knew the first couple of days it started rampantly spreading pretty quickly, and instead of paying attention to that, they thought they could just take care of it themselves. And there comes a point, and again, that common sense point, to where you're like, Okay, and theirs would just say sure didn't. They just didn't have the sheer manpower to handle it. Really, they didn't have it, and most shops don't. One or two people maybe to run it. And so, pay attention to those things. Treat each symptom uniquely, even though the person comes to you every week with the same problem, and that will happen. By the way, the same issue every single week, maybe every day, every day, every day. It's the same person, the same issue. You treat it uniquely. Again, yeah, it can irritate for sure. Definitely, I'm not saying it doesn't, but again, it's part of the job, part of IT. And so when you're identifying the affected area, I've already went over all this, but basically, again, isolation to the person or to the entire organization. Narrow it down when it happened, when it occurred, symptoms, some benefits like eliminating some causes, points to other things, taking time to troubleshoot correctly, asking specific questions, filtering unrelated user information. Like as they're talking to you, they might say, "So did you see the Cubs game last night? So, what do you think?" And they start talking about stats and all this stuff. And you're like, well, and you come to find out, yeah, they had a little problem, but really at the end of the day, it was something that they could have fixed themselves or it would have went away possibly if they'd have done the right steps. So you get where I'm going. And so there's unfiltered things that you have to filter out, unrelated things, and you be tactful about it as well. You don't just say, "I don't have time to talk to you about that," but you definitely converse with the person, but try to get down to what really is the issue. Discover time and frequency may reveal more subtle network change. Like say it happens every morning at 9 a.m. Well, come to find out, maybe an issue is they have a problem with their monitor changing colors every morning. It's weird colors, right? You come to find out the back of their monitor cable is not seated well, possibly into the computer. That's happened. Or they move their chair every morning a certain way. When they sit down, it hits a cable, knocks it out as we plug back in, something like that. Identifying affected problem leading to next troubleshooting steps. And then this is just a diagram of, again, you're not going to sit down with a sheet of paper every time an issue comes up, but just kind of show you a logical progression. Like, is the problem limited to one user or workstation? Yes. Okay, examine the individual workstation for problems, consider possible errors. No. Is a problem limited to one department or group? Let's say it is yes. Okay, examine the network segment in that group. That's maybe switches or hubs or routers, so on and so forth. Determine what's changed, find out what's changed. And the questions that I give the users or the data that you guys get here in a second, some of these actually tell you what happened the night before or what the user did. Like, for instance, a couple of these, one of them talk about the person installed some software they should have installed the night before, and now their internet doesn't work the next morning. Person was disabled from accessing a file, and they've been gone for a while, and they come back and want access to that file again, right? And they're trying to get an IT person to let them do it, to let them through to get that access. So some manipulation type of thing. Possible actions or changes, generating the problem, correct it, reverse it. An example: they try the password too many times, or one of them in here is had to do with passwords. A lot of times when you get a new account, the networking admin will set up a default password, right? It might be like your last name and your, I don't know, last 4 of your social, something like that. Let's say that's what it is. Well, the person doesn't enter that in. They just start entering in random passwords or no password, and they lock themselves out, and you have to reset it. Any change to network, keep track of those. And then establish the most possible or probable cause. Again, user error can be a lot of times the issue. Verify by watching them do whatever task it is. Talking over the phone, you can do somewhat, but if you're working in a shop, which most of you will be, where you can actually walk over to the You can walk over to the person. You can get a lot more done face-to-face on troubleshooting than on the phone sometimes, many times. And then connecting via remote desktop. That works as well. The company in Ohio I work with a lot that I've remote in to their computers to help them out at times. And again, they're sitting in front of their computer. I'm on the phone with them, and they're showing me exactly what's going on. So I literally get to see it, right? You know, how many times have you told somebody, whether it be with your car or mechanic or whatever, you're having some noise or somebody, you take it to the mechanic, I don't hear nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Sounds good to me. Radio is great. Muffler sounds great. Brakes are awesome. It squeaks every time I stop, right? As soon as you take it in, it stops, right? So by remoting in, a lot of times you get to see. And a lot of times what it is they're doing things differently, maybe not wrong, just differently, and it's causing issues possibly. Also catching results of all this is catching user-generated mistakes, whether they're not following a process or procedure, and then further troubleshooting could help as well. Now, in IT, I'd love to say every time you can recreate a problem. Can't always recreate a problem. But it doesn't mean the problem doesn't exist. It just means you can't recreate it in your system, right? Or in your computer or whatever the case may be. Could be an issue with that computer, that laptop, or whatever the case may be. The one thing you don't want to do is say this when somebody comes in to your desk at IT or calls you and says, I can't do this. You do it immediately on your computer and go, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. It's fine on mine. That's like the most irritating thing, right? You can say to somebody, right? Because almost, are they going to come back the next time and call you? Probably not. Because now maybe that's the intent, though, of the IT person is they don't want them to call back the next time, right? So the way they stop it is just say, I don't know what you're talking about. Sounds looks good to me. I can get right in. I mean, have you guys ever had that happen to you? Where you might not be an IT issue, but whatever it might be an issue, you bring it to somebody and go, well, I don't know. Works great to me. Looks fine to me. And well, that's, I mean, how do you answer that? I mean, really, how do you answer it? So there's no real right answer it except frustration. Reproducing the symptoms, again, I find the best way is to shoulder surf, go behind the person, watch them, or remote in. Either one works great, especially if it's a issue that's following steps or procedures. It's best just to watch them do it. It really is. And it takes a minute to walk over or a minute to remote in. And then continue asking questions, most important. Find where the problem occurs, whether locally on their network, computer, cabling around them, or it could be more broad into the entire network, or it could be software related. So as you said here, some of the symptoms could be faulty connectors, loose connections, poorly crimped connections. They kick the cable too many times. Other Cat5, and it's just, had one too many kicks. NIC cards do fail. Talked about that. And then finally, diagnosing physical layer issues could be swapping out cables, swapping out NIC cards. Had to do that a number of times over the years. That happens a lot of times, by the way, when you have power surges. Even though you have everything plugged into power supplies, right? How many's ever had anything fry on a surge protector? You ever had anything fry on a surge protector? I've had a lot of things fry on a surge protector. And one of the things I've had fry is computer NIC cards. Like a member at school had all their computers were plugged into power supplies, and it literally went through the power supply, fried the power supply, and then fried the NIC card. But it's a very, very, very volatile thunderstorm that literally hit real near that school. So yeah, it can happen. And then you have to replace the NIC cards. That's all you got to do. Help desk is what we're ready to go to here. There is jobs, by the way, a lot of jobs in help desk. It's not a cushy job. It's not a job that you really, it takes a special person. I've done it over the years. I've had to do it still some to help out. I don't know if I'd want to do it 100% full time. I could if I had to. But I think every IT person should do it at least once in their life for a short period of time. And you're going to be doing somewhat of help desk in anything you do in IT of any type, whether it be networking, programming, whatever, installation, cabling. You're going to be doing some help desk of some type, right? But sitting down physically, your job just being help desk, I think it's a good experience for every person to do it. Because basically you're the first line of defense coming into the building and you're the voice of the IT department. And then second tier would be the network specialist. Third tier, the help desk coordinator. And then above that will be like your IT manager, CIO, type of folks. So create an action plan, consider some of the solutions and effects, the scope of the implementation of your solution, and also trade-offs. You could restore functionality for one group and also remove functionality for others. Okay, I've seen that in IT many times over the years. You fix something in one area, works great now, but then this whole other area of this segment now, you've totally messed something else up, right? Where you installed some software or you changed some configuration on the network to make some software work over here. Well, now that you did that, and now some software over here doesn't work, or some functionality over here doesn't work. So make sure you have fallbacks, rollbacks, or whatever you want to call it. And then security, also being aware of inadvertent security implementations that sometimes during example would be upgrades and patches that you don't know what those upgrades or patches do. A lot of times they can give people rights they didn't have before, or limit rights that they had before. Seen that before too. One of the patches Adobe kicked out about 6 months ago disabled people from logging into the network, or a lot of networks around the nation. And what it was they disabled a port number, multiple port numbers, which a lot of networks were using for authentication on Windows networks. And literally 50, 60, 70,000 networks around the US on Monday morning couldn't log in. So that's pretty drastic. It's pretty serious. So anyway, they had to, they initially said, we don't know what happened, but they did roll back the patch and then just told everybody else in the businesses to roll back that update. And basically what most folks did was they just turned off the auto update feature, which a lot of companies had turned on for Adobe. So now that's off. It's not auto updating anymore because of that. Action plan, again, just making sure you can implement it, fix it. Sometimes it's a temporary fix. Sometimes it might be something you can't afford to fix right now. It might be a Band-Aid, but you fix it to kind of hop along to where you can fix it the right way. And that sometimes you have to do that. And then vendor information, finding out during your troubleshooting and troubleshooting search, you might have help from somebody, whether it be product help or whether it be specific IT help. You can build reputation over the years of a database to get help that you need. All right, so now let's go ahead and watch this serious video, and then we're going to go over the troubleshooting exercise. And these guys I'm getting ready to show you is this video is the 3 Dead Trolls. And they actually used to travel around the U.S. I don't think they've done it in a while, but they did it for years. And these were former IT folks that did a live. They did this live, by the way, for many years. This one's videoed in an actual building, but it's just like a stage thing with satirical things that happens in IT, basically. They create songs. Like one of the songs they created, one's called "Every OS Sucks," was one of the songs they sang. It was an awesome song. And so, but this one here you're getting ready to watch is about a guy training another guy on help desk, basically how to call and help desk. So here we go.
Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my cubicle? They told me I should. Oh, I get it. You're the new guy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm supposed to be the one that shows you the ropes, huh? My name's Fine. Welcome. Welcome. It's a tough gig, you know. Internet help desk. I figure you got 4 essential services in our society. You got your police, your fire, your ambulance, internet help desk. You know, air traffic controllers claim they have the most stressful job. Ha! That shouldn't be. There is nothing that beats the adrenaline buzz of configuring some idiot's ADSL modem, even though he's running Windows 3.1 on a 386 with 4 megs of RAM, you know? Yeah. Thank you for calling the Internet Help Desk. One of our trained technicians will be with you shortly. Please hold. So that's the first thing. Hold button. This is your best friend, okay? This is your teddy bear and your mama's teeth all rolled up into one. Always put the customer on hold, okay? Right off the bat. Shows them who's boss. Thank you for holding. Your call is very important to us. Please hold. Take some of the fight out of them too, you know? Which is important. Because when they start telling you they don't know how to use a mouse or that they've been putting their coffee cup in their CD-ROM tray and they start to realize what an idiot they are going to vent all over you, my friend. Don't worry. Train you up. I'm a pro. Hell, I've been here 8 months. Wow. Okay, thank you for holding. My name's Wes. What seems to be the trouble? You can't get your email. Okay, well, can you be a little more specific? You can't. Okay, please hold. See the X-Files last night?
Yeah, that was cool.
Thank you for holding.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to need to know is if you're running Microsoft Outlook Express or Netscape Communicator.
You don't know, of course. Okay, well, that's all right. Just take a look at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Do you see a big green N or a big blue E? Big black nothing. Okay. Well, that's entirely my fault.
Okay, I'm very sorry. And what I need you to do is, and listen to me very, very carefully, you're going to have to turn your computer on.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. Don't worry. I'm here. Okay, I'll wait. Thanks. You guys got a computer 10,000 times more powerful than what we used to send a man to the moon. And he needs me to turn it on for him.
Yeah, that's funny because actually...
Okay, so you got to boot it up? No, sir. No, don't kick it. No, is it turned on? Oh, great. Okay. So the big TV part then is all full of cool, colorful pictures and stuff? Excellent. Okay, please hold. You know, I do feel sorry for them. I do, you know. I mean, they don't know why they want to be on the internet. They don't know how to get on the They don't even know what the internet is, but they want to be on it. So they go down to Future Shop, they buy the most overpriced piece of crap the salesman can soak them for, and then they bring it home, plug it in, and boom, they're crash landed in the middle of a dark technology. Hey, what are you doing? You start looking at the cartoons for tomorrow today. What the hell are you going to do tomorrow, huh? God, what are you going to use for a strength when you got to lead Joe Moron through clearing the porn out of his Internet Explorer history cache before his wife wakes up? Have some discipline, buddy. Okay, so you've got it booted up then, sir? Excellent. All right. Now, what I need you to do now is double-click on the little picture that you normally double-click on to get your email, okay? Now, what is the name of that picture? Microsoft Outlook Express or Microsoft Outlook? Okay, great. Just go ahead and double-click on that. And then when the program runs, I want you to click on Tools, and then I want you to click on Accounts, okay? And then when the next box comes up, click on the blue text, click on Properties, click... No, Tools. Tools, sir. Tools. T-O-O-L. No, okay, sir. I think you've run the wrong program. Okay. Outlook. No, sir, no, you're not running Microsoft Office. See, that's why you need to run Outlook Express, okay? It's a completely different program, illegal instruction. Well, sir, I'm sorry, but your copy of Office must be pooched. But that's not supported software, okay? You have to understand that, no, sir, you haven't broken any laws. No, it's an illegal instruction. It's just, sir, look, I can't help you if you're crying, okay? Please stop crying, sir. Suck it up. Suck it. No, don't unplug it. Do not unplug it, sir. No, do not. Stupid. Pieces. Okay, well, let's just plug that back in then. Okay, great. All right, I'll wait. Just hold, please. Okay, look. We got a serious 12 o'clock flasher here. You know what that is? No. Every appliance in this house is always flashing 12.
There's no way to get a 12 o'clock flasher online. Can't be done. I've seen guys eat their own headsets trying. Now we got to go to Plan B. Hi there, sir. I was just wondering, do you have a child in the house? You do? Great. And what's her name? Beth. Oh, that's very sweet, sir. Could I talk to her for just a second? All right, thanks. Hi there. Hi, who am I speaking with? Beth? Well, hi, Beth. I'm Wes. How old are you? 9. 9 3/4. Wow, well, that's very old. Listen, Beth, your daddy really needs to get his Outlook Express configured to use the third-party dialer instead of LAN or whatever it's set to. Could you, yeah. Oh, and check his SMTP preferences too. I think they might be pooch. All right, Beth, thanks. Oh, and Beth, listen, the next time your daddy tells you that his computer isn't working, I want you to tell him it's broken, okay? And tell him to give it to you to play with and send him back to the store to buy an iMac, okay? It's a computer especially built for idiots. For, you know, mummies and daddies. Yeah. Okay, then. All right. Well, get him a tissue then. No, I don't want to talk to him. Okay, thanks, Beth. Bye. Look, I'm going to go have a smoke, but if anybody asks, I'm taking it up, okay? Here. Good luck. You'll be fine. Just keep your head up, your mouths aren't loose, and stay away from the porn sites, because they check. Internet help desk, please hold.
All right, there you go. What not to do, but actually what was done many years, and maybe still today in some places. Anyway, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at troubleshooting exercise. And what this one's going to basically do, I'll blow it up here a little bit more. So we're going to look at real world scenarios that a network administrator could go through during any given day. Your job as an IT person to use your soft skills along with your technical skills to find out a solution. Each troubleshooting problem in the exercise puts in the human factor, the emotional state of the user, and the physical state of the network. I'll split you guys in groups. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll do 5 and 4. And so I will give the troubleshooters a sheet of paper called the troubleshooter, and the users a piece of paper they're called the users. And on the user, it'll have a problem, and we'll tell you what the problem is. I'll walk around, make sure you understand what the problem is and what the solution could be. The troubleshooter will ask questions, as the one we went over just a bit ago. Find out the name of the user. When you come in, I'll put you back to back into chairs and go ring, ring. You'll begin your troubleshooting questions and give you about 5-10 minutes at the most to ask the questions, try to find a solution. If you can't find the solution, no big deal. If you can, that's great. And so either way, some of the users though will have an underline on the piece of paper that'll give them a clue as a troubleshooter. But you can ask for a clue as a troubleshooter, but only after you've asked 2 questions. But try to figure it out without asking a clue. Some of these users do not have clues, by the way. And so as soon as the user and troubleshooter finish, we'll swap and do. If you start as a troubleshooter, you'll be a user, and then flip flop and do the other one. All right. So let's see here. Right earlier. 7, 8, 9. So let's do one this side. Admin, you and you, admin, and I'll have you all 4 walk out. Go ahead and walk out of the room. There you go. And I will have 1 sit out this time. Everybody want to sit out?
Actually,
You gotta go for your one?
yeah.
All right,
She's
cool.
here, so
Hope he gets feeling better.
yeah. That's first day walking.
Ah, gotcha.
Went down on the
In
house.
sporting accident?
No, he's 2.5, and he just like him and his brother, his twin. They were playing on the couch, and they both got down.
Ooh.
So
Ouch.
oddly enough, he was actually getting all the right way instead of how he normally
Yeah. All right. Well, hope he's feeling better.
Yeah. And it's all that stuff's in the online, right?
Yep. It is. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Huh? Okay, go ahead and give you a second to read your problem, then I'll come around real quick, go over each one of yours individually, help you out. Figure out what the solution could be with your problem. Some of yours will have an emotional aspect to it, some will not.
You're the clueless user. Somebody pronounce that.
Okay, let me come around real quick. All right, on yours. Can't connect to the internet, they're on the mobile network. Everyone else can connect. The tech consultant did last night, that's included. You tried to set the internet on dial-up modem, unsuccessful. So the problem is the NIC card. And so when they ask you, what's wrong, you say you can't connect to the internet. They're working fine last night, and see if they can figure it out. Okay? And then don't give them a clue until I ask you. All right? All right, yours. Message pops up that you have rights to over or file action on network. Been off work for 3 months. You just work today. You used to have admin rights to the network, and then you have major mood swings during the conversation. What I want you to do on this one is play it up whenever the other child like, well, I don't know if I should do that or not like this. Well, I have to really play it. So you really try to work it. Okay. And I think on that one, there's no underlying clue for them. So really the solution for them would be, the right solution would be for them to say, well, let me look into it. The wrong solution would be to give you rights to access. Good for you, but the wrong solution. Right, problem came on your network, you're upset, nervous, you're a new employee, you're giving the user the entire data and password. Meaning they just put the username in, no password, right? And then it would prompt to change the password. So if you, and each new user set up the password 8 times. So key for them is out there, unless they ask. And then again, you're upset because you tried so many times, you really just want to get this work. Solution for them would be just to set the password onto the phone. First solution. Second solution would be, for them to look into it and set the password and tell you what it is. Okay. All right, yours, and possible peer setup. That's a cool one. So basically, it's a password to get it from Boston Computer. Boston Computer serves as a host name. It starts with first generally. Boston you boot up after your unit. You're very irritated, agitated. The user knows to boot up the Boston Computer first, but it's not always like follow directions. And often, and when asked, it will always say they booted up the Boston Computer. So the solution on that one are the two key helps for them, so to say. And so really the solution for them would be shut both down, Boston's first, your second, that should be a solution. That's all the solution. All good? All right, so I'm gonna move you guys around real quick. You stay there. If you don't mind, I'm gonna have you move up to the front row. Just that way with one per. And then if you guys wouldn't mind putting the chair back to the back of you. And so I'll have you move over to that chair by the window. I'll show you guys what I mean. So make sure you're back to back when they come in. Sound good? Just like that. So yeah, just like that. Then I'll have you move up here. This one. Right here, and I'll have you sit right here, okay? Scratch paper for them. Come on in. And if you need a pen or pencil, I have some in a cup up there on the desk, just to write down notes or something while you're talking. Yep. Just find a seat anywhere. Over here. It's opened up. Yep, back to back. Perfect. When everybody gets seated, I'll say ring, ring, and those that are troubleshooter helpers, network admins, will begin by asking their name, writing information down on this piece of paper to find out what the issue is. Ready? On your mark, get set. Ring, ring.
Oh, what's your problem?
Oh, you can't see the person?
Yep, it's like talking about you're talking about phone.
Okay.
I can't
find
that.
Okay, I can't log on to the network. I'm very
How are you
upset.
I'm doing fine.
Okay, well, I can understand your check and is this a new issue? Or-
Yeah, everybody else can connect.
This is my first